I know a lot of you wondering what to do with your moon pies. Well, I've got some wine suggestions for you. Lemon moon pies, Sauvignon Blanc, Chenin Blanc, or Pinot Grigio.
Stuart Rev Donald, acclaimed food and travel writer and world-class chef.
I was the chef of the casserole. Made the casserole for the frozen food department.
For more than a decade, they've combined their expertise to answer your questions and introduce you to the culinary movers and shakers you want or ought to know. 4-time Taste Award finalists, 10-time Nappy Award losers. They are the dynamic duo of dining. Keep screaming for more. Mike and Stu on FM Talk 1065.
I'd settle for a little Bloody Mary myself this morning. But good morning and welcome to the Sip and Chew Show with Mike and Stu. I'm Mike, of course. There's Stu over there in his new teal hoodie, looking bad, looking like Sims over there.
Looking like Dolphin Island like this.
So anyway, uh, we have got a good show today. We've got a guest coming on.
I know we say that a lot, and we're usually lying.
Well,
not today.
it's in the eyes or the ears of the be sound here.
The sounder.
I don't like that. The be hero. So anyway, we got a guest coming on. He is like a mushroom authority guy. You know, knows everything about mushrooms. Mushroom Man Tan. His name is Tanner Hammond, and he's sitting out in the green room right now, and he'll be coming in a minute. And he's supposed to have some samples of mushrooms, so we'll see him. We'll be talking to him soon. And in the meantime, man, what a 4th of July. Did you have a good 4th, Stu?
Yeah, it did.
What'd you do? Nothing.
Nothing. Not a thing. But the day before, I went down to the island with my brother, and we went surf casting that evening. And I caught a catfish, saltwater cat, and my first ever shark.
Shark?
Yep.
Where at?
On the island. About
a long time ago when the pier used to have water under it, I caught a hammerhead.
Yeah, we're off the way. So this was about a 1.5 foot long nurse shark.
Okay.
Which, in case you don't know, don't have any teeth.
Okay. Well, I caught a hammerhead, and it scared everybody on the beach.
Yeah.
Scared everybody on the beach. But that was like
Red Lobster come down
40 years ago.
We'll buy that for scallop.
So
big controversy they had back in the 70s.
I tell you. But I went and met Leanna, and Trace, so they could shoot some drone video of the fireworks downtown the other night. So after a friend's pool party, but other than that, it was really low key. We didn't even have all that many fireworks in our neighborhood. I guess that was fireworks. I hope it was. Anyway, I live downtown, so yeah, you never know. But anyway, we're going to have a very interesting show. Like I mentioned, we've got a guest, and we'll be talking to him after we come back from break. But I think he's brought some samples, so we'll see. But I asked him. I had to remind him that this is a food show, a food show, and so I hope he got the hint that we're looking at food related stuff. So
I don't see any stems with purple stripes. I think we're safe.
So anyway, I've been looking forward to that. I talked to Stu about this months ago. I said, man, we need to get this guy on the show.
Yeah, because I love mushrooms.
I do too.
And it's a fad for people who want to cut meat out of their diet to eat mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And I see why. It's a really, really good replacement. I've got mushrooms in something. I don't miss the meat.
I'll put mushrooms in different things where you normally would add rice. I'll use mushrooms, and I try to keep a couple of cans. I know that's a bad word, but
my favorite snack as a kid growing up, and my mom loved it, was a can of B&B buttered mushrooms.
Ooh.
That's way better for me than chips or candy bars.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, and over the years, I've had a house off the ground and had to go in there, do some repairs, and I got to crawl through the mushroom fields. And then you're thinking, like, what if any of these are edible? We're going to ask those questions.
Yeah.
When we come back.
Yeah, I had a friend who was a botanist, and I had some peculiar mushrooms growing in my yard, and I said, how do I know if they're toxic? And she said, eat a little, wait 24 hours. If you don't get sick, They're not. And apparently, that is a universal suggestion. Not one I'm happy with. I'm not okay with that.
What about if you don't make it 24 hours? Then they probably are.
And well, we will find out if any actually are that toxic. And and it's important to note they are toxic, not poisonous.
I got so many questions.
Yeah.
I got so
Snakes are toxic, not poisonous.
The trick is to find out from those who already know.
Yeah.
That's the trick. That way you're
the
not
survivors.
Yeah.
The survivors.
No, you can learn from the ones that didn't survive too.
Well, that but then you gotta do the autopsy to find out what they died from and stuff like that.
Right. I think all the mushrooms in their beard would be a pretty
One word for you.
What?
Google.
Google. There you go.
Hey, the goo.
Let's get a few things out of the way before we go on break. We got some birthdays.
Yeah.
Sean Sullivan had one the other day.
Sean Sullivan. Was that the little redheaded dude in the snowboard in the Olympics?
No.
That was actually Sean White, who my friends and I call Sean White the Red because his hair was so red.
Okay. Anyway, his birthday was the other day. Friday was his birthday. Oh, by the way, Sean is the chief
The head
guy
honcho.
here at the
He's the
FM
head
Talk
honcho.
106.5.
The big cheese.
I want to talk Matt McLean, Fatty Matty's barbecue up there in Fruitdale. Great barbecue. His birthday's tomorrow, but today is Kevin.
Would you say that's off the Eaton Trail?
Kind of.
Then why didn't you shoot some video?
I haven't been up there in a while. I will though. I'm going back because I've got my mission. I'm on a mission, but also Kevin Holton at Bob's Downtown Diner. He's one of the favorite servers down there. Today is his birthday. I hope he's listening. He may not be.
And if you go, what color
At work
hair
today.
does he have? The answer is yes.
Yes, because he's got hair, but you never know what color it is.
Right.
So, and most of all, Richard Starkey, 84 years old. Who's Richard Starkey? Sir Ringo Starr of the Beatles. He is 84 years old today. I saw a video of Mick Jagger running across the stage, 80 years old, running. And I'm thinking, God, I hope I can do. I know I won't, but I would love to be able to run like that. But he's never stopped moving. I bet he eats a lot of mushrooms. Get all that energy. What do you think? What do you think? And the day is National Macaroni Day, Strawberry Sundae Day, and World Chocolate Day. What a day!
Mac and cheese sundae.
Put some chocolate over that strawberry sundae.
Yeah, and some mac and cheese on top of that.
There you go.
Yeah, Mike would be all over that.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, you'll put a hamburger on moon pies, but you draw the line at Sunday and mac and
Everybody's
cheese.
got their limit. Everybody's got their limit on things, They've certainly got their limit on things. So, but what else you got? You got anything?
I went down to Dolphin Island the other night and oh wait, we've done that. I did want to hit back on it. It was a beautiful night. As hot as it is on land, you have to remember when you're on that Gulf side, especially Wednesday when that south breeze was coming up. Oh man, it was just as pleasant as it could be on the island. And I mean, we were sitting so that the waves would hit our feet. Just right there on the edge. When it was a really big wave, it would hit our feet. And just sitting there with some cut bait, some mullet out there, just catching whatever bites. And my brother had given me a surf fishing combo for Christmas year before last. And I had been so busy, this was the first time I used it. And I made 3 casts and I caught 2 fish. So I think that's a pretty good break-in.
I noticed it has been kind of nice at night.
Yeah.
Recently.
Well, if there's a good breeze like there was, now when the mosquitoes made their arrival, it was unpleasant. And then my brother tapped me on the shoulder and handed me a can of Repel. We were good after that.
There you go.
Nice little spray, and they left it. But at first, I thought they were fruit flies, man. I looked down and went, what's a fruit fly doing out here? And smacked it, and finally realized those were mosquitoes. They had been feasting on tourists.
I don't have problems with mosquitoes, but they like my ankles, though. At 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm asleep, they bite my ankles, and then I can't sleep anymore because I'm itching like crazy.
Is that when you're cowboy camping?
Even in my house, because I like to leave the doors open on a nice evening, And 251-343-0106 is the Callahan Irish Social Club text and call-in line. When we get back, we're going to have the Mushroom Man here himself, Mushroom Man 10, Tanner Hammond.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Right.
Good to meet you. You know my niece, Joanna,
medically
yeah,
supervised
yeah. She just gave me some shit real.
Call
Nice.
251-3677.
Think you need to cook these if they're toxic and,
The Home Service Club sponsors this
Yeah.
meeting. Attention homeowners. Broken AC,
So I brought like six
$4,600.
different kinds that I read
$1,500.
about the fresh ones, and
Fridge on
then
the fridge,
all of these are
$1,000. You
I
need
did all
home
this stuff
warranty
right
coverage
there.
from the Home Service
Every
Club
single kind.
for around
sauteed
$1 a day
with,
if any of your covered
salt,
appliances
pepper,
and
thyme,
systems break
and
down.
garlic.
HSC
So
will
you
either
guys can try
repair
like
or
the
replace them.
different flavors of
HSC has
them.
over 18,000 pre-screened, highly rated
So,
technicians with the fastest response time in the
This
industry.
one will set everything out.
HSC provides coverage
This
for up to
one-
47 different appliances and
this
systems in your
one-
home. Call for a free,
And
no obligation
this
quote
one
from
are
a trusted
all different
HSC
types of
service
oyster
specialist
complaints.
about a
Okay.
home warranty for your
They're just
entire
different
home.
species.
All
Yeah.
backed
So
by
these grow
30
out of
money back
logs like
guarantee.
the traditional oysters, or do they grow off?
800-929-7449.
So I
Call
grow
now
these.
and get
These
your
are all
first
that
one free,
I
plus
cultivate.
$75 off
I
your first
cultivate
year.
them off the bags.
800-929-7449.
All right,
Basically, yeah.
800-929-7449.
because I had seen in Japan for the longest time, like when I first started cooking, you couldn't cultivate oysters.
Small talk.
And
Nobody
then they had
likes small
started
talk.
taking plugs
It's
out of
boring,
logs out and
mindless,
putting them out in the
awkward,
forest where they would be.
Empty, painful,
Put
hard,
cords
pointless,
outside of it.
and
That's the
dull.
first thing that they did.
But we'll take it.
Say, I just like
Don't
it.
hate your small
It's just,
talk to foster
they
care.
would waste it,
Because
so
just
they
talking
would
about the
just
700
keep it.
kids that enter the system every
Yeah,
day
all these
can
things
help
over
the
there.
700
We
kids
used to
that
get
enter
this
the
thing called
system every
chest
day.
blood mushroom.
Learn more
Yeah.
at
From a distributor. It would be,
don'tyourSmalltalk.org.
from
Brought to you by Foster More.
I always forget
Hey,
the
if you
name.
enjoy talking sports, hunting, and
The
fishing,
straw
then
mushrooms
you have to
from
tune in
St.
every Saturday
David.
morning at 10 a.m. for Southern Fairway Sports
is it
Radio,
like the
presented
Navy?
by
Yeah,
McConnell
that
Automotive,
yeah,
the number one
those,
gypsy
and
dealer
then
in
the,
the state of Alabama. Hello again, friends.
no
This is
pork
Randy
cheese.
Berger. Be sure to join me and
Yeah.
the gang as we'll talk
But
football,
Chanterelle,
golf. Yes, we're talking
all
hunting and
these just
fishing.
be
We
in
got
one
it all
box.
because we want to talk about what
And
you
I
want to
make
hear.
pizza with
That's
them.
what we do
Yeah,
right
call
here
it the
on
Fun
Southern
Guy
Fairway
Pie.
Sports
Yeah,
Radio
the
every Saturday
garlic
morning
oil.
beginning at 10 a.m. on
Quickly
FF
cooked
Talk
crust.
106.5.
It's time for a checkup Monday at 1:50 when Sean continues his discussion with Dr. Reese Jones, a Southern Cancer Center, about the behavior of cancer. Don't miss this conversation Monday at 1:50. It's time for a checkup on FM Talk
When I was at
106.5.
Mars Hill.
They are the
We'll talk about it.
What I'm gonna do with
Dining, sip and chew with Mike and Stu on
Yeah, we got my hands
343-0106.
on it.
Now back to Mike and Stu.
All right, Stu, we got a few folks to thank. We got to thank Bob's Downtown down there at the corner of
Did you
Fat Happy.
see that omelet that he proposed?
I saw that, and
Meatloaf.
I
in
can't
an
believe
omelet?
I can't believe I wasn't there. You know,
Yeah.
I'm hurt. My heart, I'm hurt. Hurt. But if you go there,
You
tell
think your heart's not hurt, but you are.
I'm hurt.
Yeah.
But if you go there today and you see Kevin Houghton, tell him happy birthday. Also, we want to thank Paul's Sausage and Wholesale Meats. I don't know if they have any mushroom sausage in theirs, but you could probably add some to it. But thank you, Hall Sausage and Meats, for your support here. And Butch Cassie's down there in the heart of Floshell.
Where they do a fine mushroom burger.
Do they?
Mushroom Swiss burger.
Okay. Do they have any of these kind of mushrooms?
No, it's usually button mushrooms, but I'll tell you, I love mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do is, after I cook the bacon, I leave a little of the bacon grease to saute the mushrooms
Oh,
in,
yeah.
then a little of the Montreal steak seasoning.
Mm-hmm.
And then the container that I put them in when they're done, I have a pat of butter waiting for them. So I drop the hot mushrooms in there and toss them in the butter
Mm-hmm.
so that it
Yeah.
cooks.
All right.
Because it's important to me that the mushrooms be good. Because if nobody's ordering mushroom Swiss, I get to snack on mushrooms.
Well, in that segue, we're going to introduce our guest, Mushroom Man Tan. So, Tan, tell us about what you do. How did you get started doing this? Do you like mushrooms, really?
Yeah. If you can't tell, yeah, I love mushrooms. But so I started as a chef. I worked at Dragonfly and Fairhope and
Mm-hmm.
Daphne for I believe it was like 10 years. And
Wow.
then I kind of
Very
So-
innovative menu, by the way, for anyone that hasn't been to Dragonfly. One of the most innovative menus on the Gulf Coast. Love
Yeah.
the place.
so I got the blessing of getting trained by the chef. He was actually gonna like help me go to culinary school. I turned it down because I had a girlfriend in the house, all that stuff.
Life got in the way.
I was just like, I can't afford to do
Yeah.
culinary school and work and just too much. So he just kind of taught me everything.
I have an opinion on that. Go
That's how
ahead.
I learned.
So he
I've
just
never
taught,
been to culinary school.
yeah, he just taught me everything. I worked there like 60 hours a week all the time. And well, anyways, COVID hit. We kind of slowed down. I had a bunch of free time. My mom got a houseboat up in the Mobile Tensas Delta in Stockton. And when she got that, I decided to get into hunting, to smoke meat, my own meats that I got myself. And
We're going to circle back to that because I got something for you.
okay, but I didn't find any deer or anything, but I found wild mushrooms everywhere. So then I came out the woods and said, I got to be able to eat one. Stepdad said, go buy a book. So I bought a book and turned into this.
Yeah,
How about that?
yeah. From what I've learned through backpacking and stuff and asking questions, is just about every edible mushroom has a toxic mushroom that looks similar.
Kind of,
it's
sort of.
important to know the thing, but like the little puffball mushrooms that we all get in our yard, those are both edible and toxic, depending on when you get them. You get them when they're young and they're still white on the inside, like a big button mushroom.
Yeah.
But if you cut them open and they're black, they're now toxic.
Yeah, I don't think that they're toxic. I just think they're not palatable because it turns to
just
spores,
like bitter and stuff like
and
that.
it's like powdery because it turns into spores.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I wonder if the spores could trigger like a anaphylactic
yeah, like
response to
allergic
something.
reaction
Yeah.
or something.
That might be an issue with it. But so you can't just go out and start grabbing mushrooms
Yeah.
in the yard and chomping on them. And some of them may be edible from a standpoint of not being toxic, but it's just not anything you want to eat.
Yeah, not palatable.
Yeah.
Like there's choice edibles, there's edible mushrooms, and then there's poisonous mushrooms.
Now, from a nutrition standpoint, mushrooms are packed. What can people expect to get nutritionally from a mushroom?
To be honest, the nutrition part of all of it is not my expertise.
Okay.
I'll teach you how to cook them, forage them,
Okay.
how to get them and
The
process
important
them.
stuff.
Yeah.
I know. It's like-
Nutrition, and I'm
yeah, I think
starting
there's
to.
a good deal of vitamin E in them, folic acid, which is the brown color that you see in them a lot. Anything that's yellow or orange is going to have beta carotene in it because that's what causes that. If it's green, that's chlorophyll, which is what turns other vegetables green. They're a vegetable-ish type thing. They're in plant life as opposed to animal life. So
They're
they are
actually
packed
in
with
their
all kinds of things.
Own kingdom.
Yeah,
They're not a plant
right,
or animal.
right. They're a creature.
Yeah.
So what was your first mushroom that you found and you experimented with?
So my first mushroom I found and actually ate was actually not a super common one to find. It's called a hedgehog,
Mhm.
and it's like your stereotypical cap and stem, but instead of gills underneath the stem, it's got more like teeth that hang underneath the cap, and
Wow, that's a weird
it tastes
one.
like bacon. The hedgehog ones
Really?
do. You can't grow them. You can only find them in the wild.
So
But
it's a bacon substitute, maybe?
yeah, they're really like a meaty. There's my favorite wild mushroom right behind the chanterelle.
Yeah.
But
That
you just
is
don't find
scrambled
them.
eggs. Put that in my eggs in the morning.
Yeah.
In the Carolinas, I have heard rumor of a mushroom called the beefsteak.
Mm-hmm. They're down here.
It's like a portobello, but they grow here too.
They do. They do. And you
like
can eat them raw too.
Closer up to the Appalachians, or
No, I found them down here in Spanish Fort, actually.
then some of these big mushrooms that I saw might have actually been beefsteaks.
Yeah.
But they're supposed to taste like a steak,
Yeah.
and then the texture and everything so thick, and they're like larger than a portobello.
Yeah. And so you're suggested to cook all mushrooms because they contain the same cell that's in a crab shell called chitin. Some of us can't. Some stomachs are weaker than others, and some of us it'll mess our stomachs up. But there's 3 mushrooms. 2 of them I know off the top of my head that you can eat raw. Beefsteak's one of them,
Mhm.
and then the woodier jelly mushrooms that you see in like Asian
Yeah.
soups. Those are 2 of the 3 mushrooms that don't contain chitin.
Another issue with the raw mushrooms is they contain an amino acid that blocks your body's ability to absorb the nutrients that are in the mushrooms. The same amino acid is in spinach, but there's a lot more of it, which is why you should really cook spinach to eat it. There's so much of that amino acid in it, it blocks your body's ability to absorb the nutrients from the entire meal that you're eating. And that's why they've always recommended spinach be cooked as well.
Yeah.
You can break that amino acid, and I'm sure you can do it in mushrooms the same way by adding an acid to it, vinegar, lemon juice, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, will serve the same effect. But that texture you get when you cook a mushroom just right,
Yeah.
just so much of it.
So what kind of samples here? Describe the names of them.
So I brought 6 of the mushrooms that I grow. I got 4 different kinds of oyster mushrooms. I got golds, pinks, phoenixes, and blue oysters. They're going to kind of have like a generic seafood flavor to them. Some of them being more intense than the others. And then I brought lion's mane mushroom, which is a huge medicinal.
Yeah, I've not seen it that small before. I've
just
only
pulled
seen
a little
videos
chunk.
too.
But that's a huge medicinal mushroom,
Mhm.
great for brain health. I could go on forever about that. And then it tastes and has a texture of like crab meat.
So this was
Oh, wow.
this was called a what?
That one's called a phoenix oyster mushroom.
Mike's getting a very bad image of it on our YouTube channel. For those of you listening on the traditional radio,
Is this some different?
Yeah, this one is the blue oyster.
Oh,
they've actually formed a cult around that mushroom.
let's start a band. And this is the lion's mane.
Yeah.
It has fur. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, I'll try and find a picture and show him later of it full blown in the wild. I've seen it. So I watch a backpacking YouTube channel called Adventure Archives, and one of the guys is a botanist, and he's especially fascinated with mushrooms.
Nice.
So every time they're going, no matter where they are, I mean, they did a couple trips in Japan last year, and he'll stop and go, well, I can tell by the shape of this leaf that it's in the same family as like an elm tree back in the U.S.
Yeah.
or something like that. And he really brings a lot of the education aspect to it because that's what he does for a living.
Now these two remind me of something you'd see in the ocean, you know, in a coral reef. But I mean, also it looks like a magnolia leaf.
Yeah.
You know, Japanese magnolia. But
Yeah. What he's holding up on camera for those of you are the orange oyster mushroom, and then the yellow one, which looks really different shape-wise than the rest. Is it just because it's at a younger stage?
No, that's just how those grow.
It doesn't get any bigger.
Yeah, those are a lot more like brittle. They're really fragile. I have to be really careful when I pick those compared to like these.
Right.
And they're really strong in flavor. These pinks and the golds, you can actually smell them, and you can smell the flavor on them. They're super strong.
Yeah.
Some people don't like my wife actually doesn't like the pinks as much, but we just pair them with like seafood, more seafood dishes.
When you get into these different colors, what you're dealing with also is different nutrients.
Mhm.
And it may be that whatever nutrient is making that more of that orange color just tastes bad to her palate.
Yeah.
And I would go to say, does she like carrots?
It's a little more bitter of a mushroom too. I think it's the
really?
bitter part of it, which bitters are good health-wise.
Yeah. They are, which is why we like collards.
Yeah.
Now,
I like colors.
yeah, grocery stores have created a sin in that they have taught Americans that there's such thing as a baby Bella mushroom.
Yeah.
It is not called a baby Bella at that stage. It's called a cremini. And because of the youth versus the adult version, the main difference is the gills, isn't it?
Those are the portobellas, baby bellas, or creminis. They're all the same mushroom.
Right.
They're just
at
different stages. Yeah. The small ones are grown in darkness too. That's why they're white colored.
Oh, yeah.
If I grew all these
sunlight,
if I grew all these with no light, all of them would be white.
All right. Well, we got to go to break. We're going to talk more with you in a minute. If you want to get in and ask him a mushroom question, 251-343-0106. Michael Bailey, what does that number
This is
do?
the Callahan's Irish Social Club. Call and text and line. When we come back, we're going to talk to the mushroom man Tan a little more. Got some booty questions.
Wouldn't be surprised if Cookie called.
I didn't know you knew so much about mushrooms, Steve. I mean,
Talk
Steve.
1065. Coast Weather Authority. Dr. Bill Williams.
Tanner's my name. Yeah, it's like your man
Sunny
Tanner.
skies today.
Everyone calls me
What's your
Tanner.
last name?
Thunderstorms. Highs
Yeah.
in the lower 90s. Tonight,
be much
showers,
more-
thunderstorms, lows in the mid-70s. And for Monday, mostly
From
sunny
here,
again with
not
scattered
Bill, but
showers
like
and
Bill
thunderstorms
Stores
and afternoon readings in the lower 90s. This is meteorologist Dr. Bill Williams. FM Talk 1065. the Gulf Coast Weather Authority. Do you like following your favorite high school sports teams? Do you want to know more about the actions of state, county, and city leaders? Do you want a newspaper that speaks to you and your interests?
That's not
If
spam.
you answered yes, you should be reading the Call News. Since first published in 1897,
Yeah, but,
the
you
Call
know, you
News
just
has
put
reported on the
some
issues
stamp
that matter to the
on
people of South Alabama and continues to be ranked as one of Alabama's best weekly newspapers. Purchase the Call News at many grocery and convenience stores in South Alabama, including Walmart, Rouse's, and Circle K's. And if your favorite store doesn't have it, let us know and we'll make it available. If you want the Call News delivered to your home, we can do that too for less than $1 per week. Call us today, 251-866-5998. That's 251-866-5998. Or visit us online at callnews.com and get connected to the Call News.
They actually go, that's the common misconception. They're running the dark.
Dave's company just got the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business.
5 years.
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
High five for gig speed.
5 years of advanced security. 5 years of great rate period change.
Our rate ain't changing.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
There it is.
He hasn't given this
So
many
in
high
each one of
fives
the
since Deborah
jars,
brought in
that's the
her famous
driver,
banana
and the
bread.
These are actually software versions. I took them all out.
Dave's feeling it's only for a limited time.
I did
So
them
go
all
away,
the same
switch
way.
today,
So
and
it's
ask
all
how to get the
time
first
on
ever
it.
5-year price lock guarantee from
Come back
Comcast
on.
Business, powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
And it's hurting, but I am stopping.
It's 8/21/24. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for
I
new
mean, there's a way
customers
you
on
could put that
qualified
thread in the
internet
middle and you
bundle,
both, you know,
excluding taxes
lean
and
into
fees.
it. It's
Other
like, I'll
restrictions
force
apply.
this stuff on the travel better.
Hello again, friends. I'm Randy Bergen, inviting you to join me, Coach Rick Cleveland, and
Here's
Coach
me
Mark
sit down
Lasseter
on the bench
for the
every
Tots
now
and
and then.
Tractors Prep Sports
What's your
Report.
wife
We'll
doing?
be coming to you live from the Eastern Shore Toyota and Hyundai Studios for 2 hours beginning at 8
You're doing a
a.m.
good job,
every
Pop.
Saturday morning. We'll visit with coaches, athletes, administrators, and more as we'll keep you up to date on all things prep along the Gulf
This
Coast
is what I
and
do
the state of
for
Alabama.
a living.
Wake up with the
And
Prep
she's
Sports
part-
Report
she's
team
part-time,
this Saturday
and
morning
so
starting at
that's
8
part-time,
a.m.
and
right here on FM Talk
that's right.
106.5.
For more than a decade, they are dynamic duo of Tiny.
You don't want to
FM Talk 106.5.
All right, we're back here with the Mushroom Man Tanner Hammond, and we're going to talk about what's in the jars. I see some jars here, but first of all, where do you grow these at? Are you still picking any out of the wild, or are you growing these in a building or a house, some type of housing?
So I built a 120 square foot shed in my backyard, and that's where I grow all these mushrooms. I do majority of what I sell is all cultivated, but I do forage one specific mushroom, chanterelles, and sell those. I got a license to the health department to forage.
You have to have a
and sell.
license to that?
Yeah, it just became a thing 3 years ago. And one of my best friends, Alan, he actually created the certification course through the health department.
Oh,
And
cool.
then I was kind of like first in line behind him.
Now, why is that? Why is it that you have to have it?
Because it's not regulated or anything. It's basically holding people accountable for if, say, I sell to a restaurant and someone says the mushroom got them sick. It's basically the same guidelines as like oysters, where the restaurant is supposed to keep a file for 90 days. If they get sick, they can go back and trace where the mushroom came from.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So is this shed temperature controlled in any way? It is?
It is. It's temperature controlled, humidity controlled, and CO2 controlled. So fresh air.
Oh, CO2. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Wow. So what you got in jars?
So in the jars, I cooked all these mushrooms the same way I did: salt, pepper, garlic, and fresh thyme and olive oil.
So what we have up here is what's in the jar.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Do you eat meals every day with mushrooms?
Not every day. We did that definitely at first. We ate them a ton. Now we definitely eat them a lot, but not every day.
Okay.
I take my extracts every day.
Okay.
I make like medicinal extracts.
That was another question I was gonna have. What medicinally, what are they good for?
So the medicinal mushrooms, the only one of these that I use is the lion's mane. But I make extracts of these for like a daily health supplement, and I do lion's mane, which is good for brain health. I'm going to try and sum this up really fast too. I got reishi, which is really good for the immune system. I have chaga, which is really good for gut health. I've got turkey tail, which is really good for inflammation, and there's a ton of cancer research behind it.
I might be interested in that.
What did I say? Turkey tail, reishi, lion's mane, chaga, maitake, which is going to be for that's a really good one for diabetics. It helps regulate blood sugar and it's good for heart health.
Oh, wow.
And then the last one is cordyceps, which is
Okay.
the newest one, and I'm not as familiar, but I know athletes are using it for like a pre-workout thing. It helps oxygenate the blood flow while you're working out and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. Good. Do you do tours?
I do foraging tours where I'll go out and take people in the wild, and we'll do about 2 hours, and we'll talk about plants and wild mushrooms, and then I also do grow classes.
Okay. Now, are these things seasonal?
Yeah, it's very seasonal, but it's really rain dependent. As long as it's raining,
It's not a problem here.
yeah, as long as it's raining, we can go find some mushrooms. But you do have like different mushrooms at different seasons, but as long as it's raining, you can go out and find something.
Mm-hmm. So do you do like any proprietary, or, you know what I mean? It comes from one specific, see, in the wine business, there are proprietary wines that come from this one particular acre that happens to be facing the sun for so long during the day, during growing season.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if there was anything you would consider proprietary, where kind of like a
truffle.
A truffle.
So really, I just look for
that is a mushroom.
Truffle. Yeah. Where's are there any truffles around here?
So apparently we have a pecan truffle that grows in pecan fields, which I have not tried to get into finding or anything. It's not like to the level of white truffles and the real expensive truffles in a chef mindset, but it's still like an edible good one. And they're in pecan fields, but I haven't found them personally.
Goes out to Dawes community, which prior to Hurricane Camille was the largest pecan producing region in the world.
Wow. Baldwin County was loaded with pecan orchards. Now it's all houses.
Yeah. I do know that Oregon, they've been able to start cultivating truffles there. And when I was at Little House Midtown, we were ordering truffles that were being foraged in Tennessee.
Yeah, I actually know.
Truffles, not white.
Okay.
I met so I go to mushroom festivals too in different states, and I actually started one here in Fairhope last year, and we're going to do it again this year.
I want to go. I want to make sure I go to that.
But I met like some of the people on the forefront of truffle farming in America. Like they're basically apprenticed under people in Europe that have done this for a while, and they came back and like in the Carolinas and stuff are 3 years into a 10-year start of a truffle farm. It takes like 10 plus years to get
in Fitou, France. Truffle's a big industry, and wine is a big industry there. And the wineries have to put barbed wire around their fields to keep wild boar from eating their grapes and their bushes and their roots. But it's against the law to hunt them out of season because they do have to control the population of them. But the truffles, the wild boar hunts the truffle. The dogs chase the wild boar and they find where they've been rooting at, and they get the truffles out of the ground there. And I know the Delta, especially up around Stockton, that area, and just there on the causeway, there's a good bit of wild boar.
Oh yeah,
I've seen them. I've seen them, and I would think they would do a good job trying to help find truffle.
Yeah. Do you know why pigs are so attracted to truffles?
Why?
Because they release the same like hormone that a female pig does when they're in heat. So that's why they stopped using pigs as much and went to dogs, because the pigs would devour the mushrooms before they got to them. Because it was that same hormone, like that same scent.
So really, dogs, you just expose them to some, they can pick up the scent, and like just a tracking dog,
Yeah.
That's how they use them.
Yeah, that's wild. That's great.
Yeah. Mike, here's something interesting about a truffle. When we would get two of them about that size, which is, we'll say a little larger than a golf ball if you're listening on the radio. They would come in a styrofoam box, and the chef and the sous chef that ran the brunch, They come in on Monday. They put 2 eggs in the box with the truffles
Cool.
and leave them until Sunday morning, and those were for them. The flavor, the aroma of the mushroom would penetrate the eggshell during the
Jeez.
week and flavor the egg like truffle. So they didn't have to add anything to it.
Wow.
So there's some mushroom stuff for you with an
That's
egg.
cool.
So what are the shelf lives on these once you've picked them?
So it varies with the different types of mushrooms. These pinks and these golds don't last super long. You get like maybe 4 or 5. Especially these, you get like maybe 4 days. These maybe 5 days. Lion's mane, you can get over a week, sometimes 2 weeks. I think it's just because it's a really dense, dense mushroom. And then most of the other ones, you get about a week in the fridge.
Okay.
As long as you store them in like a breathable brown paper bag or something.
All right. So after you saute them, of course, I wouldn't saute them until I'm ready to eat them. But I mean, if you saute them and you leave them in like a jar, like a Ziploc bag in the refrigerator, how long would they last?
It depends on how you do it too. Like in the restaurant, what we do is we would coat them in something fatty, like a high-fat oil or butter, and then it'll extend the shelf life. If you just do it like lightly, I would say like week and a half. If you coat it in something fatty, I would say you could get closer to like a month, and then you could even freeze that.
Yeah.
And then you extend it even longer.
Or dry.
Do what?
Dry them.
Yeah, I found that sauteing them though and covering them in like a bunch of butter and freezing it is the best way to keep the texture of them. Because I love the texture of some mushrooms.
Yeah. One of the things with the dry mushrooms, Mike, if you buy those at a store, you reconstitute them by putting them in hot water like you do anything dry, like a sun-dried tomato. But save the water because now you've got mushroom broth.
There you go. Yeah. That makes sense. Have you done any like chef dinners or anything where they use your mushrooms and you're there to talk about what you grow?
So I haven't done it where like other chefs are cooking them, but I've done it plenty of times where I do private dinners too. And,
okay.
I'll do.
I know somebody does private dinners.
I'll do mushrooms, and I really like to focus on like local other farmers or what's in season fish wise and stuff like that, and then I'll get up and I'll give a whole talk on like each piece of their meal and where it came from.
Now, are there any particular mushrooms that pair well? Like with wines with fish and meats and duck and fowl, are there any mushrooms that do pair well as well?
For sure. At my markets, a lot of these regulars that we start getting at my markets, they'll start coming up to our tables and be like, tonight I'm gonna do a beef, or I'm gonna do a steak with some asparagus. Like, what's a good one to go with this? And I'll steer them towards a certain mushroom.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
Y'all talk, I'm eating.
Okay. That's great to know because now where do you do your markets at?
I do the Foley one. It's called the Foley Fish and Farmers Market, and it's down by Owa. I do that one every other Saturday. And then on the Sundays in between, I do a Fairhope Market at the Fairhope Pier.
Yeah, I've been to that one. I missed you one time. You had already, it was toward the end and you weren't there. I walked by you, and then when I went back, you weren't there. So
I'm about to pick up the, there's a night market at Oyster Brewing Company.
Yeah.
And they do it one Saturday a month or something. And I'm going to do that
it's
one.
not too far from my house.
Start doing this one now.
And then they got the market in the park at Cathedral Square. That's either in the spring or in the fall because it's like too hot right now.
Yeah, I think they just had their last one. I was looking into it.
Yeah. I think you would do well there.
So far, I'm not doing any markets in Mobile, but I sell at the fair, at the new Piggly Wiggly on University.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So the goal is to pick up a Mobile market here soon.
Okay. I would think that you would get in the pig in Fairhope as well.
Yeah, they started me there, and then I went to. Then
okay.
they put me in the University store, and then they put me in the Foley one too.
Is that doing good for you?
Yeah, it's doing great.
Oh wow.
So you ever sell mushrooms to Jeremiah Matthews at Southwood Kitchen? I had a feeling. Jeremiah was my chef at Nathan's Market years ago. And when the market closed down, he went to either Yellowstone or Grand Tetons and just cook them like a chuck wagon cook.
No, he told me that, and I'm so jealous. Like, that is the epitome of what I want to do in my life.
Yeah, and that's all. I admired Jeremiah a great deal, and he was a really good chef that influenced me greatly. And that food at Southwood Kitchen is awesome.
Yeah, one of my favorites, for sure.
Yeah, I still got some money left on my debit card. Not my debit card, but my gift certificate I have there. I gotta get my ID.
All right, we want to thank Mushroom Man Tan for coming in. Check out our Facebook page for information about him, or you can call us at 251-343-0106.
Hang on, before it was.
Do you do it daily? I've been married for 20 years, so I'm lucky if it's
So the big question,
that.
and that
I
I
mean, do you
ever
go to
heard is,
lanyardmobile.com on the daily? I usually pick it up
edible
from the
mushrooms,
box
edible
downtown on
mushrooms.
Wednesdays. Well, you're really missing out because
Psilocybin,
Lanyard is Mobile's
you know,
daily
hallucinations
newspaper.
and all that. So,
Lanyardmobile.com
you
is
know, how does a
updated daily
person know
with
the
breaking
difference?
news, award-winning investigative
strike
reporting,
around
and
still
article
on that
entertainment
thought,
coverage
if
you've come to
they're
expect from
the
Mobile's
social
own
ones.
newspaper.
Yeah, if
I
they're,
just need to check it out
they're
more
good for you
often. Yeah, you
mushrooms,
do.
that you
All
can
you have to
cook, or
do
those
is sign
good
up
for
for a
you mushrooms that you
subscription.
can
They're only
cook.
$6.50 a month.
They're going to be like
Totally
you
worth
said,
it to
like
have a
that.
daily
They're going to
newspaper.
breathe.
Yeah, that's far less than the 50 cents
yeah,
I
the
used to
biggest
stick in those
one
yellow
they
boxes
breathe
every
for
day.
you.
That's for sure.
Well, that was
You're
one of the
convinced
questions.
me. I'm going to sign up
I wonder
today
if
and get my news
you
from
also-
Lanyard
Like
on the
if you
daily.
took this and
Great
did this,
idea.
Lanyard is
the whole
Mobile's
it's
source for daily news, in-depth investigative reporting, commentary, cuisine reviews, and arts and entertainment coverage, as well as the best sports pages in Alabama. Sign up for a subscription today at lanyardmobile.com. That's lanyardmobile.com.
Jennifer.
Being entrusted with a parent's medical needs can be hard, but they need you, whether they realize it or not.
Cannabis.
Elder abuse and neglect can take many forms, including self-neglect.
Dad,
why didn't you tell me you
needed help?
Report suspected abuse or neglect to the Alabama Department of Human Resources at 1-800-458-7214 or look for Adult Protective Services on the DHR website at dhr.alabama.gov. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the ABA, and this station.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. Are you
Look
getting
at
all
our-
the benefits
look
you
at our
need?
stuff
If
real
you get
quick.
Medicare,
Well,
you may now be
ask
able to get
him
new
about
benefits.
where people can get
Benefits
more
may include
information, and then
eyeglasses,
we'll
wellness visits, gym membership, meal
I
delivery,
remember.
and hearing aids with low copay. To find out which benefits you qualify for and to find out if you're getting the benefits that you deserve, you need to call Best Medcare. Our licensed insurance agents can look up your current benefits and tell you what additional benefits are available to you. It's easy, just one call. Tell us the deductibles you prefer, the doctors you want to see, and if you want prescription drug coverage.
I
The
tried to burn
service
it,
is
dude.
free and you have no
Because I do a lot of
obligation.
stuff
You
with
may even
crowd,
find
and I love
plans
what
with
they
zero
do now,
monthly
so
plan
I would
premiums,
like
zero
to
co-pays on many
use
services, and zero
the
deductibles.
coalition
You
salad.
deserve every
No, I
medical
get
care
it.
coverage.
Bugs, this is
Call
a sort of
800-431-6905.
Oh.
800-431-6905. That's 800-431-6905. And let Best Medcare do the work
Yeah, we have.
for you.
That's not a
It's that
black
time of year. It's on everyone's mind. You've made your plans and preparations if a hurricane impacts our area. Now, what you need more than anything else is accurate information. Where is the storm going? How intense are the winds? What kind of storm surge can you expect? When you need to know, you need Dr. Bill Williams, founder of the University of South Alabama's Coastal Weather Research Center and Mobile's only full-time radio meteorologist. When the information matters, and it has to be right. Mobile's first choice is Dr. Bill Williams on FM Talk 1065. To get on the line, call 343-0106.
Michael,
Yes.
if I were looking for an omelet with meatloaf in it and jalapeno peppers,
And maybe some mushrooms.
where would you send me?
I'd send you to Bob's Downtown Diner on the corner of Fat and Happy. That's at North Jackson and St. Francis Street.
Well, I have a question. You mentioned the phone number before we went to break. What was that phone number?
Oh, that was Callahan's Irish Social Club call-in, text in line.
I think it's
They-
working too. We'll get to it in a minute.
Yeah, we got Cookie online. We're gonna get to her in a second, but
You
we
know
also
what these mushrooms would go good with.
What?
Some of that Hall's Cajun sausage.
Absolutely it would. Yeah, that one
Yeah,
particularly.
mushroom and sausage go great.
We want to thank Hall's Sausage and Wholesale Mix for help sponsoring the show, and Butch Cassie's over there on Florida Street, a part of Floshell, and he's up in Illinois right now.
Yeah.
Roy
Please
is,
don't
but
pronounce the S.
I don't. Illinois.
Yeah, I know. It's
Anyway,
the state motto.
right.
Illinois. Please don't pronounce the S.
There you go. All right, now we're back with the Mushroom Man Tan, and Tanner, where can people find you at, and what are your social media outlet pages and how can they find you on the interweb?
If they're stalking you.
Yeah. So the best place is going to be our Facebook page, Mushroom Man Tan on Facebook. We also have an Instagram, but we're not the best at posting on the Instagram.
Neither am I.
Yeah, it's all the social media stuff is not our forte. We try our hardest. And then we also have a website now, mushroommantan.com, and you can look at all of everything we provide, product wise, class wise. I have a calendar on there that I try and keep updated where you can see all of our classes and markets and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, cool.
All right, now, Mike, we got a caller.
We got Cookie, and I wonder what Cookie's got.
Did we have a caller? Oh, well, I guess we lost Cookie. Did we lose Cookie? Yeah, okay, well, we got dead air. Hey, is that you, Cookie?
This is me.
I bet you got mushroom questions for Tan, don't you?
Do you? Come on. This is, y'all please repeat this show because I was doing everything I could not to miss anything that was said, but I got cut off somehow, okay?
Okay, all you got to do is go to our Facebook page or to our YouTube channel.
I don't have all that stuff, you know.
You don't have to have it to view it. All you got to do is just go facebook.com and Sip and Chew with Mike and Stu, and it'll take you to our page.
I don't have a computer.
Oh, well, that's a whole different story then. I'm going to turn you over to Tan there.
Thank you.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. I am so delighted by this program, and please, all three of y'all, and all of the rest of the crew, y'all please repeat this program, so that I can make notes about it and get in touch with you through ways that I have access. Not everybody has computers. Not everybody has smartphones. And podcasts and all the other stuff. And anyhow. So, but we still like to be informed, and this has been a most wonderfully informing. And the only thing I'd like to add to it is that, and maybe I missed it, maybe this is something you already brought out, that when you dry them in the fridge, because you can't use them right away, like you said, in a paper bag, and then dry them out, you can blend them up so that they become mushroom powder, and that gives you umami, not yo mommy, umami, right? So that you can do just amazing things with. I'm sure you know more about it than I do. Are there other alternatives to the preservative measures that you've already mentioned that someone who doesn't really care about a lot of technological sophistication can do?
So my favorite way to preserve them is to cook them all down and saute them. And mushrooms are like 80–90% water, so cook all that water out, no butter, no oil. And then when the water cooks out, you can throw in a butter or oil, like a high-fat butter or oil, and coat them really good. And then you can freeze them like that. And
oh, you got my number, man.
And cooking all that water out from it keeps. Freezing water, it expands and contracts, so it messes the texture up. But once you cook all that out of it, then you kind of cancel that out.
All that wonderful extra flavor, like you said. But listen, just please repeat this program, okay? I'm saying, y'all please do. And thank you for this morning.
You're welcome.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, Cookie. I don't know how a person exists in 2024 without some form of, every way we've got of repeating this is, you need a computer or a smartphone for.
Or phone, yeah.
Yeah, podcasting and all that. But
brother, I know people. I know people don't.
Go to a friend's house, Cookie, who has a computer, and pull it up on Facebook or YouTube. Then you can watch it at your leisure. Yeah, library is a great sort. That is one thing that I felt I've always gotten back from my tax dollars is the library.
Yeah,
it's a great resource. I'm sure it was very helpful to Tan when he started doing this.
I'm gonna tell you, there was one time before COVID, you could go to the Ben May Library downtown, and there'd be a small little orchestra in there playing classical music.
Oh yeah, they've done chamber concert. In fact,
oh,
I saw Lauren Murphy play in the auditorium there one
there
time.
Too. Phil and Foster, I believe, it used to play
Yeah,
on
it's a
Sunday.
Nice little auditorium.
On Sunday afternoons, they used
Maybe
to perform
seats
there.
what 200 people at most.
Just a quick question for you, Tanner, and this is one we asked off air, just to go ahead and repeat for everybody else's knowledge. What is the difference between cooking mushrooms and the other mushrooms?
So the other mushrooms, they're gonna bruise blue whenever you bruise them or rip them open or something. They're gonna bruise blue.
Meaning that they turn blue in their stem. Okay,
Mhm.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the precaution that you'd want
Does that mean they're bad for you, or is that you're probably going to get a little buzz or
It
something?
depends on who you ask if it's bad for you.
to, and where they tend to travel to.
And the amount as well. I mean, they've had wonderful success using psychedelic mushrooms in a capsule form as an antidepressant that's far more beneficiary to people than anything that big pharma's come up with.
Again, it's unregulated, as they say.
In Colorado, it's completely legal. They've been
Right.
doing regulated experimentation there, and also with LSD, which is not a natural product like
Like DC, Washington DC, it's legal.
Oh, of course, it would have to be.
all plant medicine.
Yeah.
Well, I just tried the lion's mane, and it's delicious. That's really flavorful, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's got a
You had the
smoky-
sauteed, not the raw, right?
No, sauteed. It's kind of smoky.
Mhm.
Oh, like a natural smell. I'll have to get into that here in a minute.
Yeah.
But
We are going to try these in a minute, folks. So
I've tried a few. But Tam, we want to thank you for coming in. I have always loved mushrooms. The more mushrooms, the better for me. I've always said if the doctor said I had to give up beef or die, I would die. But I could probably live for a while with plenty of mushrooms.
yeah.
But want to thank you for coming in. Folks, visit his Facebook page if you are interested in learning more about mushrooms or purchasing some mushrooms or just, hanging out with Tan. He seems like a cool fellow.
Yeah, I love to talk about mushrooms. Feel free to ask any questions anytime.
All right.
Cool beans.
All right, Michael, I guess we got to start wrapping things up.
Well, thank you for coming in.
No problem.
Appreciate you getting up, coming over. You probably had to get up and feed all your mushrooms anyway.
Man, you have not seen anything like an
All right,
ornery
folks.
herd of mushrooms.
Oh, man. All right, get out there, support local, be local, buy local, and stew.
Provolone.
Provolone, buddy.
Oh, keep going.
Oh, we got to keep it rolling.
You know what goes good with provolone? Mushrooms.
Mushrooms. One of the best hamburgers I ever had was
Oh, okay. So
Big old
10
mushroom.
seconds left.
a big mushroom cap with a hamburger.
I had
patty.
one that got on a cooking channel, had a portobello grilled in the middle of the patty.
That's great.
Yeah, provolone.
Provolone, folks. Everybody watch it there.
I thought you were telling us to wrap it up.
No, yeah, maybe I should have done that.
Yeah.
Let's do right.